Spring had come early to Maplewood, Pennsylvania, the kind of town where people waved at cars even if they didn't know who was driving, and where the smell of lilacs mixed with the scent of grilled burgers on almost every porch by mid-April. The streets, lined with tulip beds and cracked sidewalks, shimmered with the afterglow of a recent drizzle. Clouds had cleared, leaving the sunlight soft and gold like melted butter spilling across the white clapboard houses. Somewhere down Birch Street, the hum of a lawnmower echoed faintly while an ice cream truck looped its tinny tune for the fifth time that hour. Inside Evan and Rachel Foster's tidy two-story home, a comfortable middle-class colonial with an American flag drooping from the porch rail, the morning was anything but quiet. On the living room rug, their 14-month-old daughter Lily Foster stood wobbling like a wind-shaken sapling, both fists clenched for balance, determination carved across her cherub face. Rachel, a marketing copywriter working from home, crouched nearby in sweatpants and a faded college t-shirt, phone camera poised, whispering with equal parts excitement and terror, "Come on, baby girl. You can do it. One step, just one." Evan, still wearing his work boots from an early shift at the hardware store, stood by the couch holding a half-eaten bagel and a mug that read "Number 1 Dad," even on Mondays. He was trying very hard not to look like he cared too much. "Let her take her time," he said with a grin. "Walking's a lifelong commitment, you know." "Evan," Rachel hissed, swatting at him without breaking eye contact with Lily. "Don't distract her." But Lily was already distracted by the dangling tassel of a throw blanket. She turned, tottered, and promptly dropped to her diapered bottom with an indignant squeal. Evan winced sympathetically. Rachel sighed. And then, like every good parent since the dawn of time, she reached for her phone to record attempt number 2. Outside, the town hummed awake. Neighbor Charlotte McBride, a retired librarian in a pastel cardigan, watered her flower boxes next door while chatting to her cat, who ignored her completely. Across the street, teenage brothers Kyle and Ben Thompson argued over who got to drive their mom's Subaru to baseball practice. And at the end of the block, the local mail carrier Jeff Riley was already sweating under the April sun, earbuds in, whistling to a classic Springsteen track as he trudged up each stoop. Maplewood wasn't fancy, but it was alive. Rachel's laughter filtered through the open window when Lily tried again, her pudgy feet gripping the carpet. "Look, she's doing it," Rachel whispered. The moment felt cinematic, sunlight glinting off the baby's auburn curls, the faint hum of cicadas starting early, even the smell of coffee mingling with spring rain. Lily's first real step landed halfway between courage and chaos. She lunged forward, arms wide, wobbling wildly before tumbling into Rachel's waiting hands. "Yes," Rachel cheered, loud enough for Charlotte to peek through her window. "Oh my gosh, she did it." "Barely," Evan teased. "That was a 0.5 step, tops. Needs replay review." Rachel rolled her eyes. "Fine, Coach Foster, you try it in a diaper and tell me how easy it is." He grinned, lowering himself beside his daughter. Challenge accepted. A moment later, Evan was on all fours, mock walking across the rug, mumbling like a toddler while Lily clapped at him. Rachel recorded the entire thing, tears of laughter in her eyes. "You are officially ridiculous," she said between giggles. "Ridiculously supportive," he corrected. "It's called modeling behavior." Outside, life went on, lawnmowers buzzing, kids yelling, screen doors slamming, but inside that little living room, time seemed to pause. Lily's hesitant steps had turned into a metaphor neither of them realized yet, that progress, no matter how messy or small, always looks silly at first. By mid-afternoon, the living room looked like a toy tornado had passed through. Rachel finally collapsed on the couch, sipping from her cold coffee and scrolling through the videos. She smiled at the mess, blocks scattered everywhere, a half-eaten banana on the floor, and Lily now sleeping peacefully in her playpen, one hand still clutching a plush turtle. The sight of her tiny chest rising and falling made Rachel's exhaustion melt into quiet joy. Evan peeked in, now changed into shorts and a faded, Penn State, t-shirt. "Hey," he said softly. "You realize she'll be running before we blink, right?" Rachel smiled. "Don't remind me. I'm still recovering from the crawling phase." They shared that rare, silent look couples get when they both feel the same deep gratitude, half pride, half disbelief. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rolled faintly, the edge of another spring shower passing through, but Maplewood's charm never dimmed. Even its storms came with personality. The rest of the week became a montage of missteps, stumbles, and triumphs. At the diner downtown, Nancy Bloom, The owner had already heard through the grapevine that Rachel's baby took her first steps, because in Maplewood, every piece of news traveled faster than the Wi-Fi. When Rachel stopped in for coffee on Thursday, Nancy winked. Heard little Lily's practically in track training. Don't let her beat me to the finish line, honey. Rachel laughed, blushing. Trust me, she's got my stubbornness. She'll be fine. Good, Nancy said, handing over the cup. Stubborn keeps you upright. Meanwhile, Lily's attempts became a neighborhood event. Every evening, Evan brought her out to the front yard, setting her on the grass like a tiny explorer in pink overalls. The sun would dip low, turning everything honey-colored, while neighbors paused mid-dog walk to cheer her on. Go, Lily, almost there, you've got it. The entire block became her fan club. One evening, Charlotte even came over with a homemade banner that said "You can do it, Lily." Painted in watercolor daisies. Every achiever needs encouragement, she said. Rachel nearly cried laughing. You're too much, Charlotte. Nonsense, the older woman replied. You'll thank me when she's president. But even with all the humor, there were hard days. One afternoon, Rachel watched Lily trip over her own toy and burst into tears. For a moment, Rachel felt a pang, like watching your own reflection fall. She picked her up, whispering, "You're okay, baby. It's okay to fall." That night, after Lily slept, Rachel stared at the baby monitor's glow. She thought about how often she still stumbled, at work, in life, trying to figure out how to be a mom, a wife, a woman who hadn't lost herself. She smiled at the irony. Maybe they were both learning to walk again, just in different ways. Outside, frogs croaked from a nearby pond, and the moonlight brushed over the lawn like soft chalk. The town was still. The only sound was the rhythmic ticking of the kitchen clock, steady, patient, unhurried. Just like growth itself. And so, in the heartbeat rhythm of small-town spring, between burnt toast, baby laughter, and neighborhood gossip, Lily's walking became more than a milestone. It became a reminder that the world keeps spinning, even when your knees shake. Every fall was practice for standing taller. Every laugh was proof it was worth it. By mid-May, Maplewood had shifted into that golden stage of spring where everything felt overexposed by sunlight, yards humming with lawnmowers, sprinklers hissing, and kids zooming by on scooters with popsicle-stained faces. The Fosters' once quiet street now sounded like a suburban symphony of chaos. And right in the middle of it all, little Lily Foster, now a confident 14-and-a-half-month-old, had declared her independence, by refusing to crawl ever again. It started on a Monday morning when Rachel tried to strap Lily into her high chair for breakfast, and the baby wriggled free, toddling off toward the front door with the swagger of a marathon champion. Rachel watched her go, half proud, half terrified. "Evan," she yelled toward the hallway. "Your daughter's making a run for it again." Evan emerged, shirt half-buttoned, tie askew. "She's motivated, what can I say? Must have learned from her old man." "Old man," Rachel teased, laughing. "You cried when your fantasy football app crashed." "Hey," he replied, mock offense dripping from his voice, "that was character building." The laughter rolled through the house like sunshine through open curtains. It was the kind of laughter that comes easy when you've found the rhythm of your new life. One diaper change, one coffee refill, one small victory at a time. Outside, the world mirrored their energy. The azaleas bloomed wild along Birch Street. Mail carrier Jeff Riley waved from his route, earbuds dangling as he hummed Born to Run. Teenagers skateboarded past with earbuds and iced coffees. Even the breeze seemed alive, rustling the American flags that flapped from porches in slow motion. Maplewood might have been small, but in spring, it thrummed with big-hearted motion. Inside, Lily's latest obsession was the family's old wall clock. A chunky, brass-rimmed thing that ticked loud enough to make visitors glance at their wrists in confusion. She'd stand beneath it, gazing up as if trying to sync her own wobbly balance to its rhythm. Rachel noticed the connection one afternoon when Lily was practicing in the living room. "Look, she waits for the tick before she takes a step," Rachel murmured, filming from the couch. Evan leaned over. "It's like she's dancing to time." Rachel smiled softly. "Or learning patience." That line, learning patience, stuck like glue. Because the truth was, Lily wasn't the only one still learning. Rachel had started painting again, something she hadn't done since college. Most nights, after Lily was asleep, she'd set up her easel by the kitchen window. The clock's steady rhythm kept her company as she brushed colors over canvas, sunlight yellow, hopeful green, a hint of deep blue for the quiet moments. The paintings weren't perfect. In fact, some were objectively bad. But they were hers. Evan would peek in, still wearing his work boots, and grin. "You're better than Netflix, babe." Rachel would laugh. That's not a high bar. But inside, she knew something was shifting, slowly, steadily, like Lily's little steps. Patience was growing roots again. Progress had its own pace, and for once, she wasn't trying to rush it. Blank. One Saturday morning, the Fosters joined Maplewood's annual Spring in Bloom Fair. The event was basically an excuse for everyone to show off their gardens, eat funnel cake, and pretend to care about antique tractors. The whole town turned out, Charlotte in her wide-brimmed hat selling daffodil bouquets, Nancy Bloom with her diner tent giving out samples of cherry pie, and even the Thompson brothers begrudgingly helping their mom sell lemonade. Evan carried Lily on his shoulders while Rachel filmed from behind, laughing at the way her daughter's hair bounced like tiny sunbeams. "Small-town parade celebrity," she said proudly. As they passed the gazebo, the mayor's voice crackled through the microphone. "And let's give a round of applause to our youngest walker, Miss Lily Foster." The crowd actually clapped. Lily clapped too, though she had no idea why. Rachel nearly burst into tears, half from pride, half from disbelief that a baby's first steps had somehow made it into the town's gossip loop. But that was Maplewood, where even baby milestones got parade coverage. Later, as the fair wound down, rain clouds began to gather on the horizon. Evan carried Lily to the car while Rachel paused under a tree, watching the storm roll in. The sky darkened to the color of steel. Thunder rumbled somewhere far off. The smell of rain mixed with fried food and wet grass. Lily began fussing in her car seat, tired from the excitement. Rachel leaned in and whispered, "It's okay, honey. We all get tired before we get stronger." As if on cue, a few fat drops splashed the windshield. Evan chuckled. "Spring storms, just God's way of telling us to slow down." Rachel smiled faintly. "Or to keep walking through the rain. Blank. That evening, when the storm passed, a rainbow stretched over Maplewood like a pastel crown. The Fosters stood on the porch, Lily propped against Rachel's hip, both parents quiet for once. The street shimmered wet but peaceful. Somewhere down the block, Charlotte was pulling plastic covers off her flower beds, and Jeff Riley's mail truck glided past, headlights slicing through the mist. Evan exhaled. "You ever realize how everything we do looks small until it isn't?" Rachel tilted her head. Like this." He gestured toward Lily, who was babbling into the night air. "She's just walking to us now, but one day, she'll walk away, to school, to college, to wherever." Rachel's heart squeezed. "Don't make me cry, philosopher." He grinned. "Sorry, thought I was being deep." But he wasn't wrong. Growth rarely announces itself with trumpets. It's quiet, sneaky, disguised as ordinary days. The Fosters' weeknights blurred together with bath times, burnt dinners, and late-night baby giggles echoing down the hall. Yet somehow, beneath all the routine, they were building something steady, a rhythm, a resilience, a reminder that progress is progress, even if you fall 5 times first. Blank. By summer's edge, Lily had mastered the art of running, mostly in the wrong direction. She dashed across the yard with fearless laughter, chasing the neighbor's golden retriever while Rachel followed behind, camera shaking with laughter. Charlotte, watering her plants again, called out, "Careful, Rachel. She's faster than she looks." "Oh, I know," Rachel panted. "She's basically a toddler tornado." From her porch, Nancy Bloom waved a slice of pie. "Energy like that burns calories, honey. Want dessert to balance it out?" Rachel groaned, laughing. "Nancy, you're gonna ruin my summer goals." "Good," Nancy said. "Perfect people are boring." That line stuck with Rachel too. Because maybe the goal wasn't perfection, it was presence. The same patience she taught Lily now lived in her own bones. Every slow morning, every unfinished painting, every giggle-filled disaster of a dinner, all of it was a step. Even the clock on their wall seemed to echo that lesson. Tick, step, breathe. Tick, try again. Blank. One August afternoon, while Evan mowed the lawn and Lily played with plastic blocks on the porch, Rachel finally hung her finished painting above the mantel. It was a portrait of Lily, tiny feet mid-air, arms outstretched, surrounded by streaks of sunlight. She stood back, tears pricking her eyes. The painting wasn't perfect, but it was alive. When Evan came in, sweaty and grass-stained, he stopped short. Wow, you did that?" Rachel shrugged. "Just something I've been working on. Slow and steady." He smiled, wiping his brow. "Kinda like her." They stood there, listening to the faint ticking of the old wall clock. Every sound was slower now, richer somehow. It wasn't just time passing, it was proof of motion, of patience paying off. And outside, Maplebrick moved with them. Kids biked past, ice cream melting down their wrists. The sun dipped low, turning the sky into an orange watercolor wash. The mail truck rolled by, and from somewhere down the street, a neighbor shouted, "Go, Lily." Rachel laughed softly, resting her head on Evan's shoulder. "Every step counts, huh?" He nodded. "Even the ones that wobble." And with that, Lily toddled past them again, steady, fearless, unstoppable.
Daily happiness and motivation is hitting in. Like and subscribe.